back to Python programming series. Let us start with the topics covered in this video. That is object-oriented programming, class and object, the basics of classes and objects, attributes, adding methods to our class. Let us start with the classes and objects, the basics of the classes and objects. Python is an object-oriented programming language, which means the more focus is on object, creating the object and all, rather than the procedure. Object-oriented programming became popular in the mid of 1980s to manage the large and complex software. Here the object-oriented became popular in the 1980s, in the mid of 1980s means 1985 like that. Why means to manage the large or complex software. By using object-oriented programming, we can easily manage the large and complex softwares. It makes modifying and maintaining the programs easier. By using object-oriented programming, we can modify the program easily and maintain the program easily compared to procedural programming. What is procedural programming? The main focus is on functions or the procedures that operate on the data. In the procedure-oriented programming, the main focus is on functions or the procedures that operate on data. Here the main focus is on procedure or the function rather than the object. In the object-oriented, the main focus is on object rather than the procedure. Let us see, in the object-oriented programming, focus is on creating objects that contain the both data and functionality. In object-oriented programming, the main focus is on creating objects and that contains the both data and functionality, which has the object has both data and functionality. Let us see the examples of objects in Python. Those are turtle objects, string objects, random number generators. These are all the examples for objects in Python. Usually each object represents something in the real world. Each object present in the program or anything, it represents something in the real world. And its functions show how it interacts or behaves. For example, if I take a car as a object which is real world object, and the functions means the engine and the brake, those comes under the functionality of that object. Clear with it? Let us see the next topic, that is attributes. Object instance have the attribute. The object instances have the attribute, which means the data I have told, and the methods. Methods are nothing but functions. Object has the data and methods. Methods is also called as functions and data is also called as attributes. Access or modify attributes using dot notation. We can access or modify the data by using dot notation. Let us see an example. P of x is equal to 3. P dot x is equal to 3. P dot y is equal to 4. Here I have initialized the values to p dot x and p dot y. How to access the p dot x and p dot y? Let us see. Print p dot y to access the 4. I can easily access the 4 by giving this print p dot y, and I have assigned one more value, that is x is equal to p dot x. By giving the x, I can easily access the p dot x, that is 3. Clear with this? By using dot notation, I can easily access the axis. I have accessed here as it is, and I have modified here. You can see x is equal to p dot x. Here there is no x if you see. I have taken x, which means I have modified. I can easily modify the attributes and I can access it as it is by using dot notation. Dot notation specify exactly which attribute is being accessed, avoiding conflicts with the global variables, which means it will specify exactly which attribute is being accessed. It will avoid the conflicts with the global variables. We can use attributes in expressions as well. Let us see an example. Print x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. Dot format p dot x, p dot y. I have taken in the 0th position I have p dot x. In the first position I have p dot y. X is equal to p dot x means I have 3. X is equal to 3. Y is equal to p dot y I have 4. That's why y is equal to p dot y means 4. Clear? Again, distance squared from origin is equal to p dot x into p dot x plus p dot y into p dot y, which means here 3 into 3 plus 4 into 4. I have to do 3 into 3. First I will get 9. After that 4 into 4 I will get 16. 9 plus 16 I will get 25. Clear with this example? Modules and object instances both have the namespaces, and dot notation works the same way for both. Here, the modules and object instances both have the namespaces, and the dot notation works the same way for the both modules and object instances. And the next topic is adding methods to our class. It explains the concepts of methods in object-oriented programming using a point class as an example. Using a class like point allows adding methods to specific to that type of data. Here, methods are functions that are specific to a particular class. They are used to perform actions that are relevant to the data type of the class. Clear? For example, calculating the distance from origin is sensible for points, not for the day, month or the tuples. Clear? Each instant has its own state, that is attribute, which means each instance of a class has its own state or attribute. Methods behave like a functions but are called on specific instance using dot notation. Methods are called on specific instance using dot notation. For example, class point, create a new point at coordinates x and y. Here it defines a new class, which is the name of the class is point, and here this is a doc string that which provides a brief description of what the point class does, and define in it self x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. Here it defines the constructors method for the class. It is called when the point object is created. It takes self, that is a reference to the instance, and the optional parameters, that is x and y. Self dot x is equal to x, which means assigns the value of the x parameter to an instant variable name x. Self dot y means assigns a value of the y parameter to an instance variable name y. Define distance from origin self. Here it defines a method named, that is distance from origin, that takes the argument self. After that, return self dot x2 plus self dot y2, exponent of 0.5. Here it calculates the distance of the point from the origin, that is 0 to 0, using Pythagorean theorem, that is square root of x square plus y square, and returns the result. Here this example defines a point class with a constructor to initialize x and y coordinators and a method to calculate the distance from the origin. Clear with the example? Adding methods to our class. The topics covered are classes and object basics, attributes, and adding the methods to our class. If you found this video helpful and information helpful, then subscribe to Explore Electronics and share this video with your friends who are struggling in Python programming. Thank you very much for watching.